gives us enough light. Oh yeah, it's perfect. Look at that.
Yeah.
And there you are. So you can just talk about.
I can talk to it.
You can talk to it.
And I can talk to you.
And you can talk to me.
Okay, and we'll just go that way.
Just go that way.
I think probably what I should do is from the time we got married.
Yeah.
And started with little or nothing, you know. We lived up by church.
Yeah.
And we played football and stuff with the priest, and when he come at night, you know, and it was kind of fun. But then when we got the gas truck, and that's when I bought the farm in '51. And I didn't know how in the devil I could buy a farm. You know, I said to my wife when I got home, I said, "Mom, I'm going to buy a farm." And she says, "With what?" I said, "I do not know." And Johnny Bung had the farm, and it kept going up at $2,000 every week. And I think he was just pushing me to see how far I would go. And I said, he said, somebody wanted to buy the farm. That part was true, but and he kept raising the price, and he wanted to get the farm. And I said, I would like it. And when he went up to 18,000, I said, I'll meet you at the office in the morning, at the lawyer's office in the morning. I said, I'll take that sucker. You still want it? Yeah, I said, I still want it. How do you want it paid? And he said, I want a third paid down. That's $6,000. I bought a new truck and I just had it paid for completely, you know. And I thought, man, I went back to the bank and I talked to Hank Spahn. He was in there that time, and he said, yeah, he said, I'll give you $6,000 for the truck, he said, and then we'll start payments again on that. And I said, okay. Then I had $6,000. And I don't know if I had a little more money yet, that in my pocket, probably my own self. But I had about $4,000 more that I needed, and I couldn't see where I could get it. And I used to work for Alfred Balwick, and he said, I'll give you that. And I said, okay, that's fine. And I took that, and that's the first guy I paid off was Alfred. You know, you don't want trouble with nobody, and they were good friends and stuff. And I got that paid off in pretty decent time. The second year, the first year there was no water in the house, and the pump went to pots. I had to dig out the basement and cement the floor. There was no cement in it, no furnace, no nothing. And the kitchen went a room that was built on later because the wall went straight across, and then they put the kitchen on. And the mortar was so hard, Nikki. It was harder than stone. It was like that old calcimine stuff. Whatever happened there, I don't know, but I chiseled and hit with the hammer and tried to get a hole through into the basement. I worked my fanny off. But I got it. You know, once I could break the quarry stone that it was laid up with, easier than the mortar. And then I just threw the basement was deep. I just threw everything in there, leveled it off, and we cemented over the top. And with the little hand mixer, you know, you sat outside, you throw the cement in and the gravel in the sand and dump it down the window hole. And you started. Alfred and Roman were both there. They were mixing the cement, and then they shoved it down the hole, and then I leveled it. And when it was half gone, or half cemented, then Roman come, that's all we were going to do in one day, and then the next day do it again. And the next day didn't come, the pump broke. And he said, boy, Roman come and he said, Wally, we ain't got no water. Really? I said, oh boy, what else is going to happen? So I said to Johnny Bung, if you pay me what it costs to fix the pump, then I said, I'll fix the pump. And I think it was $15 And I took the $15 and I went into Clem Heggie at a co-op, and he got me a pump. And I think that pump only cost me like $15. I didn't have $1 to give him profit. I said, boy, thank you. I said, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I said, if I, I didn't have anything, didn't know where to get anything. And then Herb Zerbuck said, he worked for the company, and he said, why don't you get Frank to come out? He used to be the pump man for Daneco after, and it fixed everything, and he put that pump in for you, and I did. He did it for nothing. And then we had a dig. It got cold. This is the 1st of November. It was so confounded cold, it wasn't even funny. All month. And when I had water, I had to dig out 6 by 6 and make a pit. That's where the pump sat down over the well. And I worked all day Sunday chopping ice and stuff to get the pump, to get the dirt loose so I could start digging in the morning. It turned warm overnight. And then Edgar come out, Edgar Hornung and my dad, they come over and we finished digging the hole and firmed it up, and then we poured cement, and it's still there. And then I had water, so now I had to get from the well to the house, so I'd have water in the house. And Edgar says, oh, he said, well, he put the septic tank in. My God, he said, they're here. That was Whipperford and Ennis. I said, I ain't got no money. Oh, he said, it don't cost that much. He said, I'll get John Bowling from Sun Prairie. And he said, and I don't know who the devil paid that for. There was a $50 bill, I know, but I had no money. I got a feeling my dad paid it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like getting $1,000 or thousands of dollars, because at that time, man, money was worth something.
Right.
Today, it's not worth peanuts.
Right.
And I laid it downstairs, and I had an old truck. And I went to Wolf Kuplik and Hersey's, and I can remember that, on the other side of the square. And I took all my measurements. I had paper, and I just measured from here to here to here to here. And I said, when I went in, I said, I need somebody that knows something about plumbing. Okay, she said, just a minute. And she got on the horn, and pretty soon here come a guy, and he looked that all over, and I didn't say anything. I just left him go, and he said, you need this and this. You need a double hub here. Then he told me, he said, you cut that in half, and you got 2 ends that you got to work with. And I said, okay. And I said, just give me everything I need. And we put it on that old truck, and I come home. And I sat at the table eating, and I said, Mom, you're going to help me. Don't look at me. She said, I cannot help you with that stuff. And I said, that's okay. So every day I would go down. I had, Johnny Hines had a little blowtorch, gas, and a ladle, and it would take half of it at lead, half a brick would fit in, and you had to melt that. And you had oakum that you put around the thing and packed it down. I had that oakum packed in there so tight you didn't even need lead. I swear, I did 1 joint a night. And I hung it on the cellar steps, and the blowtorch sat here, and the ladle hung out over the top, and it heated that. And when it was melting pretty good, then I'd pour it in and hammer that all shut. And at the tail end, I didn't have an asbestos running rope. I didn't know what that was in the first place. But I talked to Ray Carey. He was the plumber. Oh, he said, Wally, I'll stop in and I'll do them 2 joints. There was 2 joints that you had to go sideways, and then you couldn't dump it in. You had to have the rope and then dump it in. If I'd only watched them do the first one, I'd have been done a week sooner. But I learned, and when it was done and he put that on, I said, Ray, I said, man, I said, I tell you, I told him what I did. And he said, you got one pipe in, kind of backwards, but he said, that'll work that way. That's fine. The tub will go in on the other side, and you could make it work. So, and it was really something else. And then it got colder than the son of a gun the first of December, or warm, I mean, the first of December. It warmed up. And I said, oh boy, get the machine out now. Whooper Fernandez. I said, can you dig for me? And yeah, and he knew me pretty good. And he said, yeah. And I said, I don't know how the devil I'm going to pay you. No, he said, I don't want no money. I want you to work it off. And I said, I'll be happy to do it. And then I did such a good job leveling everything. After a while, they looked at that and they wanted to hire me. No, I said, I can't. I got the gas stuff, but I could work at night. They had a lot of stuff that they had to backfill before winter. And it was sewer pipe or drainage pipe in the field, you know, where the water went through. And I kept putting it back, and I never got a bill. That was just a godsend. I worked it off. And that's a good way to go if you could do it.
Yep, it is.
And it took forever.
That's okay.
Yeah,
But you got it done.
It is okay, you bet. And then a year later, the first year I had oats for Kaltenberg, and that was seed oats. I didn't have no money, so we just put oats in, and then they bought the oats, and that was my payment. But I couldn't grow hay because it needed lime so bad, and I didn't have hay, and I didn't have nothing to feed the cows. So I bought a furnace for the house, and Art Driver put that in, and I can remember Art put that in, and I said, Art, why do you put them runs on the inside? Put them on the outside, the cold air returns. No, that's how they want them. And we got the furnace in, he said, guess what, Wally? Now the engineers changed it. Now you can put them on the outside. I said, yeah, that's my luck. But when he did that, he said, how do you want to pay this, Wally? I said, you give me the bill and I'll give you the money. I had the money from the oats. Oh, he said, if you're going to pay it all, he said, I'll give you another discount off of here. He said, he took another $25. It was only, wasn't 100. 80 some dollars, I think, for that furnace. And he took another 20 off when I paid him cash. And he said he had a lot of guys that order him and to tell him to put the furnace in, then they don't pay. He said, that's bad. Yeah, I said, I can understand that. I don't want to do anything to lose this place. I said, I'm going to pay as I go, no matter what it is. And I paid him off. And then the following year, then I had corn and I had hay. And I went to Werner Rawls. And he was a dairyman from Springfield Corner, and I took gas to him all the time, and I said, Werner, give me 6 of the best cows you can find. They were expensive. They were probably $300 a piece. And I said, I'll start milking them by hand. And I bought a can cooler, and I had 4 cans. And I filled them right to the brim. And the cheesemaker said, why don't you give the guy another can? And the milkman said, he's only got 6 cows and he ain't even milking them all. He said, really? He could not believe that. The cap was that much, and I filled it right into the top of them just to get it all in. And then I milked. Oh, my hands went to sleep, and I hit them on the floor to wake them up, and I said, this ain't going to work. I milked so many cows when I was young. They just tingle. You know,
Yeah.
you just couldn't do it. So I think I bought a De La Belle from Keene. Yeah, that's what it was too. Just a De La Belle, and I started milking with that. Then when I had the 6 cows, I had to put stencils in the barn and cement that, so I'd do it in piecework. Just enough cows for stencils and stuff for 6 cows with 3 on each side. And then I'd go further again. Then pretty soon I had, the most I could get in then was 20 cows.
That's a lot of cows.
And all of a sudden, when I had the money or the cows from Warner, the banker called. And he said, Wally, stop in here. He said, Warner needs his money for the cattle. He said he needs for capital for working. But he'll sign the checks, he'll give you the credit for it, you know. He said, hey, come on in. He said, he was so gentle, it wasn't even funny. He said, how do you want to pay for these cows? I said, Warner, we'll signify the signature, you know, just so I could get money. And I said I was going to give him half the paycheck or from the milk until they're paid. Oh, that's fine. He said, then you sign here, and he gave me the money. I gave it to Werner, and then I owed the bank.
Oh,
So you can eat.